Hello Aquarius, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self and ultimately create the life that you desire and deserve? As I do in all of my readings, I've pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second. I still have the tarot deck that we'll be pulling from, as well as the clarification deck and the advice deck that I will be using to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. All right, Aquarius, let's jump on in. In your recent past, you have cleansing with the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Your recent past energy is a lot of letting go of or certain things in your life being cleared out that didn't serve you. Now, when I talk about things that don't serve you, I ultimately mean people, situations, jobs, paths in your life that are not capable of being what it is that you deserve. Sometimes we don't even realize how we're accepting less than what we deserve because we either don't fully believe that we're deserving of more than that, or we don't think that more is possible, for whatever reason. And so we have a tendency to kind of accept what fits a bare minimum standard, or what we think is as good as it can get. So when we're in situations like that, we're either knowingly or unknowingly accepting less than what it is that we deserve. And so the universe kind of comes in and wipes those things out of our life when necessary, because the universe will not allow us to settle where we're not meant to settle. So if we're settling in some aspect of our life, the universe might come in, throw some tower moments at us. These things kind of start to leave our life, which actually, before I say that, I'm going to talk about your current energy, because you have changes with the Eight of Wands in reverse. So to us, when we're going through these situations where we're kind of losing certain people, or, our life is changing in ways that we didn't really expect, it can feel as if things are going very wrong. The way that I'm kind of seeing this is, sometimes things are actually working out in ways that we might not even be able to fully understand. So right now there's some confusion, just overall maybe a feeling of being a little bit lost because of these changes that you're going through. But I ultimately feel as if things are working out better than you might even be able to understand right now, for the highest good for you. Now, the overall theme of this reading is detox your friendships. However, I feel like this is like detoxing your relationships, not even just necessarily platonic relationships, because it says your abundance flow is being affected by the people with whom you're spending time. So be discerning about your associations and relationships. Choose to be with people who are inspiring, generous, and supportive. Seeing cleansing and detox in the same reading, this is definitely a period of your life where you're kind of letting go of things that don't align with you anymore and making room for what does, because in your immediate future, you have watch for signs with the High Priestess. So to me, this is the universe coming in and saying, listen, we've got this covered. You're heading in the right direction. It might not feel like it. You might not understand it. As you continue to move forward, signs will appear. The path will appear. The information that you need will appear, and you'll know what you need to know when you need to know it. So that's very much what this future energy looks like. But as I mentioned, this is just overall energy. So let's dive deeper into the story here. Aquarius, let's start with looking at your recent past. All right. Recent past energy for Aquarius. Okay. Three of Wands in reverse, Seven of Cups, and this Hierophant in reverse. So we'll do that. Okay. This is a lot of what I was saying in the beginning, because the Three of Wands in reverse can be this energy of playing it safe in our life in some way. Now, we play it safe, again, maybe either knowingly or unknowingly, when we're trying to protect ourselves more from loss than we are choosing to believe that we have, what it is that we desire to gain. So for instance, we'll stay in relationships that don't really serve us and don't really make us happy because in our mind we're like, well, at least I have this. This is better than nothing. Same thing will go with a job. Sometimes we're in a career where, we're burning ourselves out, or we're doing work that we absolutely hate, or, we're working really hard, but just not being compensated appropriately. And in our mind, we have to stay there because, well, we need to live, right? You need money to live. But the universe is trying to open up your mind with this Hierophant in reverse, this open up your perspective, open up your mind to a different way of kind of viewing things, because this is very much this energy of needing to know that you have more to gain than you have had to lose. Now, that I want you to take that with a grain of salt, because I'm not saying don't worry about what's been lost, you're being dramatic. That's not what I'm saying at all. Your experience is very valid, and what you're going through, is going to be change is painful, and it's hard, and it's scary, and all of those things are absolutely true. But let this be kind of a bigger picture way of viewing things, to say you might not understand why everything is happening the way that it is, but everything that we lose in our life is only providing us with the opportunity to gain something better that can replace it, or something of equal value, something that makes us feel the way that situation did once make us feel. But I do definitely feel as if there's kind of this energy of just feeling really confused, lost, overwhelmed, and that makes a lot of sense. But I think that there's more kind of happening than you're able to fully see right now. All right, reset pass for Aquarius. So here you are, as the King of Swords. Whether you're male or female, it doesn't really matter. Because there's the Queen of Swords, and then the Six of Wands in reverse is in between it. The Devil. Okay. Sometimes we get so attached to an outcome, a relationship, a path in general, because we genuinely believe that is the only way that we will ever be happy, loved, successful. And in this recent past energy, there's an energy of being so attached to something because you had absolutely no hope that anything better could ever come along, or that there was ever going to be another opportunity for you to receive what it is that you deserve. And the universe wants you to know that is not true. When I look back on, the life that I kind of used to have, and I feel like I've lived a lot of lives in my 28 years. But when I look back at kind of the way that things used to be, I didn't even realize at the time how I was settling for less than what I deserved, because in my mind, that genuinely was as good as it could be for me. And so when it came to friendships and romantic relationships and financial situations and careers, I was choosing as good as I thought it could get, even though those things were not nearly as good as was possible for me. And so sometimes when I talk about how we're attached to an outcome and things of that nature, I feel like, people kind of tend to get kind of defensive about it and be like, oh, well, this is the best I've ever experienced, so that must be as good as it can ever get. Or, now that I've lost this, I have nothing, and I'm never going to have anything ever again. And it's so easy to think that way, and I get it because I've been there. But if there's anything I've learned, it's that the universe really always does provide us with an opportunity for things to get better. But we kind of just have to wade the journey to get there. And I feel like that's a lot of what you're dealing with right now. I know we're talking about past energy, but I still feel as if you're dealing with kind of the changes associated with this cleansing in your current energy. All right. One more for Aquarius's recent past. Yeah, because look at that. Sun in reverse. There's this energy of not being happy. You might have felt like things were as good as they could ever get for you, but there's definitely not an energy of joy, of fulfillment, of peace associated with it. Now, a lot of times we'll invest in things because we think eventually it'll be something better. You know, we invest in a relationship thinking that eventually it becomes something that does make us happy, or same thing with a career. Maybe if I work hard enough, eventually they'll see my value and they'll promote me, and so on and so forth. And when those things don't happen, that's when kind of the tower moments happen. The universe comes in and is like, this isn't as good as it can get for you. You've never had to prove your value in order to get what you deserve and desire. You just think that you've had to. So obviously this is talking about relationships of some sort. For some of you, that could mean so many different things. It could be a boss, it could be coworkers, obviously platonic relationships too. So try to think outside the box in this reading. Obviously take it as it resonates, but you know, typically if this dynamic can apply to one aspect of our life, it can typically apply to other aspects as well. All right. Current energy for Aquarius. What does Aquarius need to know about what they're dealing with right now? It just feels like it's a little bit, and please take this with a grain of salt, but it's a little bit of selling yourself short. Maybe not knowing your true power, knowing what you're truly deserving of or capable of. And we've all been there, we've all done it, so there's nothing to be ashamed of. But recognizing that the universe is trying to take you to what's meant for you, what's better for you, what can truly bring you that happiness and that fulfillment that you were looking for in situations that, like I started the reading off saying, weren't capable of being what it is that you were looking for, so or desiring and deserving of. All right. What does Aquarius need to know about what they're currently dealing with? Ooh, okay. 8 of Pentacles and 4 of Cups. Okay, so I feel like you're trying to rebuild. Right now is a time for you're trying to rebuild and get back to where you once were. You don't want to go back to where you once were. You think you do, but you don't. Because that would just repeat the same situation all over again. Now, sometimes we don't realize we're doing that. We don't realize it when we're kind of replacing one relationship with another, or one career that we don't like with another. But the universe is saying you don't want to go back. You want to allow yourself to move forward into something new, into something different and better. You will rebuild, but you're going to rebuild in an entirely different way here. You are rebuilding. I mean, you're doing the right thing. I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like there's this need to see, because this 4 of Cups is the focus being on something different than what it needs to be on. You know what? I'm going to clarify this before I get more. Because I'm missing something about this message. I definitely feel. Two of Pentacles. So there's a need to focus on your priorities right now. And making sure that you are one of them. I don't know if that's something you're very used to, Aquarius, but making sure that you're one of them, that your health, mental, emotional, and physical health is a priority, that your boundaries are a priority, that your peace is a priority. Like prioritizing, because these situations didn't allow you to do that. That's the thing. That's why you don't want to go backwards. Because whatever this was, it didn't allow you to prioritize yourself. And anything that doesn't allow you to prioritize yourself benefits you from you not prioritizing yourself. You know, anyone or anything that gets defensive or falls apart because of you setting boundaries or choosing yourself are certain things that benefited from you not having boundaries or not choosing yourself. So that's why the universe is saying you don't want to go here. You want to go forward. So as you're rebuilding, as you're kind of, putting pieces back together in yourself and maybe new relationships or the relationships that still are in your life, like making sure that you are very much prioritizing yourself, because that's going to be key for you getting to where you want to go. And I feel like that's so foreign to you for some reason. That might feel selfish for you. But prioritizing ourselves is never selfish, especially because we can only show up for this world in the way that we are meant to, that you're here to show up for the world and the people around you, to the extent you do that for yourself first. If you're not showing up for yourself, you can't show up for others. If you're not prioritizing yourself, you can't prioritize others, because eventually your cup is going to drain out and you're going to have nothing left to give. So if you're not filling your cup first, you're going to have nothing to fill other people's cups. I mean, I see that a lot from, mothers who feel like they need to, pour everything into their children without taking care of themselves at all, when in reality doing that takes away from your ability to fully show up for your kids in the way that you're trying to. That's not saying anyone out there who is a mother is doing a bad job, because that is the case. I see it a lot. But it's very natural and very understanding why you would take that route. But, the more we prioritize ourselves, the more we can allow ourselves to show up for ourselves, or for the people around us to the extent that we want to. But I don't know. There's something about, prioritizing yourself, prioritizing your peace, prioritizing your boundaries, like I said, your health, and making sure that those things are taken care of first. So that anything that you attract into your life, you're not looking for those things to, prioritize you. You're already prioritized, you're good, and those things can match that energy. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. All right, I just said truth of the connection because we're in the middle here. Current energy for Aquarius. This is definitely a relationship reading, so that's probably why I'm getting drawn into that. Not necessarily romantic, though. Keep that in mind. All right. It's no secret, Aquarius, that you are not where you want to be right now, and you very much wish that you were further along. Now, take that in whatever way you want, and just in kind of in life in general. I feel like you need to be further along. You don't need to be. A lot of times we forget that getting to where we want to go requires, it is not recommended, but it requires for you to fully embrace where you're at as part of the process and the journey to get to where you're going. When we don't embrace where we're at, we have a tendency to kind of force things forward in a way that might not fully align with us. So then we kind of end up right back to where we started. So the universe wants you to know that, yeah, you're not where you want to be right now, but you're not supposed to be. You're exactly where you are. You're exactly where you're supposed to be right now, and all of the changes you're going through. I feel like they're really teaching you about yourself and about what you're deserving of and what you're capable of, and taking kind of the lessons from what's been lost or what you feel has been kind of cleansed from your life, and making sure that you do things differently this time around. That's going to be key. For a long time, because I've had a lot of romantic relationships in my life. I'll be the first to say that. And they all, for the longest time, just one failed relationship after another. And obviously, eventually, I got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm the common denominator in this. What's going on here? And it wasn't until I really kind of looked at how I approached every single relationship from the same place, with the same mindset, the same behavior, the same just like habits almost. And I realized that it was basically like I was attracting the same relationship over and over and over again. And when it would end, I would be shocked, even though it was exactly what I had been through before. And it took me a lot of time to realize that, these people were getting removed from my life because they weren't as good as it could get. They were a cycle. They were a lesson. And sometimes when we look at what's been lost as not something to be replaced necessarily, but something to be gained in a better way, then we can start to look at what we need to learn so that can be the case. All right. Current energy for Aquarius. So you're going through a lot of changes, and when our life is changing, things feel really scary and overwhelming. No doubt about that. But you got protection. You have guidance here. The High Priestess, same High Priestess is in your immediate future. Your higher self is really trying to speak to you regarding how to move forward here. I feel the most important thing is recognizing that you don't want to go backwards, you only want to go forwards. Whatever that means to you, however you take that. Because this is where what you desire lies. You think it lies here, but it actually lies here because you think this is as good as it can get, but things can get better. So the universe is saying, we don't want to go back to that. You'll repeat the cycle. Things will happen exactly as they did. We don't want to go back to that. We want to move forward to something different, to something better. So do something different this time around. Approach your life from a different perspective, from a different place. All right, so what can Aquarius expect moving forward should they choose to align their decisions, movements, and choices with their higher self? I feel like this is a sign to ask for signs. Like, ask for signs about what moves to make next, or like what choices to make or decisions to make. What the heck? Why are you showing up as a King of Wands? This is interesting. Oh, I get this. This is stepping into your power. Yeah, because the King of Wands is a very powerful, action-oriented energy. And, I feel like sometimes we don't realize how we really do have more control over our reality than we think we do. Yes, it's a co-creation process between us and the universe. The universe must do for us what we cannot do for ourselves. But the universe responds to our decisions, to our actions, to our movements, to our choices. So however we show up is how the universe is going to respond. If we show up believing that we aren't deserving of what it is that we desire, the universe is going to respond to that. If we show up believing that we are and that we're capable and that we're supported, the universe is going to show up for that. So, we don't realize that, yes, the universe's response is absolutely an important part of creating the life that we desire, but the way that we show up in our reality is what triggers that response. And how we show up and how we respond to what we're going through is what's going to create our future reality. So recognizing that you have more power than you think to create the life that you desire, to attract the relationships that you desire, whatever the case is. You have way more power than you think. But recognizing that power and showing up in it is what is necessary. Because if we don't show up in our power, we will constantly wait for people to choose us, the world to see our value, and for that to then get us to the next phase in our life, when in reality we have to recognize our value and our power first to be able to create the things that we're looking for. So this is very much about stepping fully, kind of standing in your power, taking action from a place of power and confidence, which I feel you might be kind of lacking right now. But as you move forward, continuing to kind of choose the divine guidance available for you, you're going to be able to open up to, the more that we follow divine guidance, the more we get affirmation that we're on the right track, and the more confidence we find on that path. It really does, but you don't get the confidence before you take the action. You have to choose to take action from a place of confidence and belief in the universe, and then the universe kind of shows up for you, and you're like, oh, I'm going to do that again. And then you do it again, and the universe shows up for you again. And it's kind of, that's what the co-creation process is about. So what can Aquarius expect should they choose to move forward in alignment with their higher self? I like this future energy for you guys, though, because I feel like right now you feel a little bit powerless. Now, life will do that to you sometimes. It'll kind of, especially when you're going through breakups, or when you lose people that you really care about, or you lose a job, or things feel really out of your control, it can make you feel really powerless. And you start to question why you're not good enough for the things that you desire, and why the universe doesn't have your back. When in reality, the universe this whole time is saying, those things weren't good enough for you. It's not that you weren't good enough for them. Those things weren't good enough for you. So now, stepping into your power and recognizing what you're truly capable and deserving of is what's going to attract what it is that you are ultimately wanting to you. Okay. Yeah. Six of Pentacles with the Ace of Swords. Ooh, but the Ten of Swords had to precede it. And that's the hardest part. So this kind of painful Now, the Ten of Swords to me is like the completion of a painful cycle in this context. And I feel like you've had to go through this. You have had to go through it, Aquarius. So my question to you is, why wouldn't you be deserving of more? Why wouldn't you be able to have more in your life? You know, I think it's really hard because when we go through a lot of heartbreak and a lot of challenges, like for me, I watched a lot of relationships in my life fall apart, romantic, platonic, just kind of all over the place. And for a long time, I thought, you know, well, I'm just kind of meant to be alone. You know, I'm not supposed to have people in my life that support and love me. And that right there was the reason that I kept attracting relationships that fell apart, was because that was the belief that I had. So we don't want to look at our past as proof of to what's possible for us. We want to look at our past as a lesson associated with how to get to where we're trying to go, because there's some sort of breakthrough here. A breakthrough in your immediate future that leads to you receiving what it is that you deserve. It flips this Six of Pentacles on its head here. And look, the Two of Cups, there's love, you know, kind of union of self, then kind of creating union of you and if you're talking about romantic, you know, romantic relationships, or attracting those that truly align with your heart and soul. So I don't know what this breakthrough is, but it is important and it's coming. And I feel like that's because then you have this watch for signs. It's almost like this breakthrough leads to, I don't know if it's like a light bulb moment. I don't know what this is, but it feels like there's like this, oh, and I don't know if it's like, oh, I'm deserving of so much more than that, or oh, I never had to deal with that, or oh, I can't believe I sold myself short like that. You know, whatever it is, this kind of allows you to, and I feel like this kind of coincides with this King of Wands energy. This breakthrough leads to you taking confident action. But just know you're very supported in this. You're kind of going through a detox phase. You're detoxing things from your life that, you know, I think that's the hardest part about growth that people don't tell us, is not everybody can go where you're going. Not everybody is going to choose to grow with you. Not everybody wants to grow. Some people are not here to grow. Some people are here to show us what happens if we don't. So opening up your heart to the idea that maybe things are working out a little bit better than you think. You know, I can certainly tell you that when I was going through some of the hardest times of my life, if you would have told me that, I probably would have punched you in the face. So I know it's not an easy thing to necessarily believe when you're struggling, but if anything, this reading being in the back of your mind saying, hey, just keep putting one foot in front of the other, believing that you're deserving of good things, and those good things will eventually find you. All right. One more. What can Aquarius expect in their immediate future should they choose to move forward in alignment with their higher self? I like it. I like it a lot. You have the Temperance with the Ten of Pentacles. This Temperance card is this energy. Yes, it's an energy of patience and of balance and of, you know, being present and things of that nature. But the way that I view this in kind of this context is no more settling. It's almost like when we're patient enough to believe that we don't have to settle for what's in front of us because we believe that better is coming, because we know that we're deserving, we know that we're supported, we know that we're capable, then we create better. When we settle for what's right in front of us because we think that we have to, because if we don't settle, then nothing better is ever going to come along, well, then we will always block ourselves from better. And so this is an energy of not settling, of choosing to be patient, choosing to be picky and unapologetic about what it is that you ultimately desire and deserve, because there is nothing wrong with that. In fact, that is a requirement to get what it is that you want and desire and deserve in this life in all forms. And so this energy, look where it leads you. It leads you to the Ten of Pentacles. So this is an energy of no longer settling, stepping into your power, realizing that you don't have to settle to receive what it is that you deserve. And sometimes when, you know, we don't need to know all the answers at once. We just need to know that we are supported in the things that we desire and deserve, and that might help us not settle for certain things that don't really align with that. You know, it is so tempting to take something that is as good as it can get in our life and try to turn it into something better. You know, I did that, and I'll be honest, in a lot of my relationships for a really long time. I would take these not that there were anything wrong with these people or that they weren't good enough for me. That wasn't the case. It's that I would take these people that didn't really align with who I was or what I wanted or where I was going, and I would try to change them into what it was that I ultimately desired in relationships. And then I would create resentment when this person didn't change, even though they continued to show up as they always have, you know, been. And I think that that's a very common thing that we do in relationships in all forms. You know, sometimes we do it in the form of kind of trying to change people into something more. We do it in the form of chasing people that don't, you know, give us what it is that we desire and deserve. It can happen in so many different forms. But when we recognize that we're doing that, then we then can recognize that we don't have to do that. And when we stop doing that is when we open ourselves up and we say, you know what, universe, I know the chasing and the settling and the selling myself short, that doesn't work. I've watched those things fall apart. I've watched those things hurt me. So since I know that doesn't work, please help me, you know, please lead me to what will. Because those same habits, those same behaviors, those same approaches, they've only gotten me here. I don't want to be here anymore. I want to be there. So, you know, help me get from here to there. All right, we're going to hop on over to the extended. This is going to focus on what can you do right now to ensure that you're moving forward in alignment with your higher self. But first, I have an announcement to make. I already posted a video about this. I'll be talking about this at the end of all of my videos for the next month. But I am putting on a workshop on April 5th at 6 p.m. Central Time on how to attract the love that you desire and deserve in all forms, platonic, romantic, just kind of how to find your people and how to sustain those connections. All of the information because tickets are required for that, so you will have to purchase a spot in order to attend because spots are limited. I can only do a Zoom conference call to so many people, and so I did have to cap it. I'm about halfway there with tickets right now, so if you're wanting a spot for that workshop, I highly suggest, you know, purchasing now rather than later, just because I don't want this to fill up. Although I have decided that if they fill up too quick, and I receive more people that are like wanting to attend, I might put on a second day. So I guess don't stress about it. All the information for that is in the description box below, at the very top of the description box. If you cannot make the live event, because it is a live Zoom session, no need to sweat it. I will be sending out a recording of that workshop the next day. The only thing you'll miss out on is I am doing a 15 to 20 minute Q&A session at the very end of the workshop. So obviously if you're not in attendance, you can't ask questions, but you'll still receive the recording of it. All right, Aquarius, thank you so much, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Aquarius, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Aquarius.